Hi everyone, it's Jody from An Eye for Beauty, and today is Saturday, May 17th, 2025. This is our weekly check-in with the energies. We just had a full moon in Scorpio on Monday. That full moon was calling each and every one of us to really go deep within ourselves, to pull up and to finally release and put to bed all of those patterns and ways of being that we kept leaning into, even though we knew it wasn't the right thing for us, in order for us to let it go. It was helping us to really clear the energy that is darker within us, the shadow within us, in order to purify our energy fields. On top of that, in the collective, in the earth, in the universe, there's a lot of different electromagnetic frequencies coming in. And if you have a sensitive body, you are feeling this pressure, this aching in certain parts of the body because you're very sensitive and you feel it. For me, I feel it up here. I'm actually feeling it right now. So if I'm squinting, which I keep doing, forgive me. But you might be feeling that too. What I just want to say to you is that you really need to be gentle with yourselves, okay? We need to give ourselves a lot of patience and a lot of grace right now. And so the first thing that I want to do is I want to go to the moon cards, and I want to just ask them, generally speaking, what are we looking at for this week? We're coming off of this full moon. What do we need to know? So we have two cards here. We have creation. We have masculine, the masculine. So you probably have heard for a long time, if you hear masculine, feminine, the toxic masculinity. And let's just tap on one piece of that. A piece of toxic, living in the energy of toxic masculinity, is someone that is aggressively pushing towards their goal. They go, go, go. They never sit still. They never rest. They never take the time to breathe. They just continue on this path of going. They don't feel their feelings. They're always in the energy of action, but that action may not be action that they should be taking, because the action could be an aggressive, forced action versus allowing energy to flow. Now remember, you're an energetic being, and you have energy all around you, in and around and through your entire being. As a human being, we feel emotions. And I don't know if you're noticing, as I'm talking, I'm being pulled back. Like the way that I'm speaking is being pulled slower. And it's because masculine energy is forceful. And what we have been doing is creating an environment where we are no longer in that toxicity of it, but what's an inspired divine masculine is someone who is taking inspired action, who takes intentional steps, who knows that part of creating, which is the next card that is here, creation, part of creating is to work on something and then step away from it and allow it to come in and to flow for what is for your best and highest good. Not to just keep pushing towards it, but to put it out there, work on it, work on some aspect of it, but then step away. When you stay in this state of constant going, constant pushing towards something you think you're supposed to have, when it doesn't happen, you wonder why it didn't happen. When you put all the work in, is because the work that you put in was aggressively pushing it away from you instead of bringing it towards you. And if you are someone that has ever taken the time to sit quietly or to step out of the way, you will notice, and this will validate, that when you step out of the way, the thing that was meant for you will always come. Because it's in an energy of attraction versus forcing and chasing. What we are working on here is purifying the energy that lies within us, and that creates more self-love, which leans more into the feminine energy. And what that does is that balances us. If you think of it in percentages, it's very important to be 50% in the masculine, 50% in the feminine. The masculine is the right side, the feminine is the left side. 50% masculine, 50% feminine. When we lean, which most of society has done, we lean 80, 90, 10. We are not balanced. When we are doing all of this, pushing, it's toxic masculinity. It's not flowing in divine masculinity. And the people that have taken the time over the years to be in the feminine energy, to be in the flow of who they are, to be in the flow of whatever is meant to be is going to come, have been looked at like they were crazy. And if you think about it, it's only because they were not like everybody else. Everybody else was in this toxicity. Everybody else was forcing and pushing. Everybody else was following everybody else. And in the end, it doesn't work. And so this message today that is coming in is really asking you to release. To release all of the things that are within your energy field based on what we're talking about, that you have been working on letting go of and are still letting go of. Because it's not serving you anymore. It's not serving anyone around you anymore. It's not serving the collective anymore. The more that you open yourself up to what is around you, the signs that are around you, the guidance that is around you, the more you are in the flow state. And the more that you are balanced into the feminine and the masculine energy. I will give you an example. The more that I open myself up to the signs, I see the signs. Last month, I have a light by my front door, and the top of the light came off. And I had a client come in the house, and she's an animal person, so she would have seen this. She came in the house, she left the house, we didn't see anything. And that was 1 o'clock. 4 o'clock, my daughter came home from school for the weekend. It was Easter weekend. And I see all the stuff out of the corner of my eye hanging off of the light. And what is it? It's like straw, whatever, from the trees and the branches. A bird, in a matter of 2 hours, was building a nest. A huge nest. And built it for days, but eventually I had to get rid of it because it wasn't safe to be there. There were no eggs. I was afraid to touch it because I couldn't see inside to see if there were eggs, but thank God there were none, and we got rid of it. Always around my house, there was always a creature. There's the feral cats I've talked about, there's foxes, there's ducks, there's big, huge carpenter bees. I mean, you name it, I have it. Well, yesterday, there was a snap turtle sitting in the center of my garden in the front yard, and she was laying her eggs. She was digging a huge, I don't know how they do, it's amazing. Digging a huge hole, laying eggs, and then next thing I knew, she walked out of the thing, walked by my car, which concerns me. I was hoping she wasn't going to get hit by a car. Then a little while later, an hour or so later, she was across the way in the center of my development. I'm in a cul-de-sac. And then 2 hours later, she was back on somebody else's property. So she was really busy all day yesterday, planting her eggs all over the place here. And then I was in the garage, and all of a sudden there came in, well, I didn't know what it was. I thought it was one of the carpenter bees, but it was a lot bigger than it. It was like this big. It was a hummingbird, just in the center of the garage, like looking at me and staying there. We are becoming more and more connected to nature, to the animals, to the frequency of these creatures that are in nature that we have long ignored for a long time. And the more that we raise our frequency and our vibration and purify our energy, the more we are going to come into contact with all of the beings that are in nature. And it's not going to be as weird as you might have thought it was 20 years ago. And that is because we are creating this new way of being, this new earth, this new connection that we have with all of the beings on earth that maybe we never even realized we had, because we were so distracted in that masculine energy to just get everything done every single day, because I'm a human and I have a million responsibilities. But we are in a 9-year in numerology this year, and if you came for your forecast, you know that this was part of what we talked about. This way of society going, and trying to do a million things in a day is no longer sustainable. And if you're still in that energy, I'm going to really encourage you to start working on shifting it, because it's not going to work anymore. Gone are the days where people just do what everybody else does. There's going to be different ways of doing things, and it's going to seem weird to a lot of people, but that is because the world is changing, and your best bet is to just be open and stay connected to God, connected to the angels, connected to the spirit realm, connected to nature, and allow things to unfold as they are. And the same goes for what's going on outside of you, especially on the world stage. God has placed certain people in certain positions for a reason. And your best bet is to not get caught up in all of it, but instead to step back and just kind of notice what is happening around you. Pray for whatever it is that you feel you need to pray for. But more importantly, spend your energy on getting out of the toxic masculinity and stepping into purifying your energy and recreating a new version of yourself, which is one that is more calm and peaceful, one that is more aligned with God, one that is more in faith and hope and trust, one that is believing that when you're balancing yourself out, it is going to serve you better. Because when you go through a challenge and an obstacle in a more balanced frequency, you're able to handle it much better, and it becomes much easier. And you're being asked to release all that is no longer serving you within your energy field. Doing energy healing work for yourself, coming for Reiki, or doing some other sort of energy healing, not physical healing. Energy healing is really going to help you. And more people are opening themselves up to it and know that it is something that you need to do to help yourself in the long run. Final cards. A lot of what I am talking about, I want you to use discernment with. Take what resonates and let go of the rest. But know that you should be doing this and the energy of this more than you ever have before. And that's another part of what we are bringing in this week. The energy of discernment. I wish you guys a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.